Pressure in the architecture of everything I plan, that the low end of the world has been executing beneath the audible, recruiting every mass and weight and rumble into the one thing that will never crumble under its own force, the bass. You feel it before you hear it, in the chest wall, in the sternum, something below the sound coming up from the ground. This is what shakes the ground, not the volume but the frequency, the sound below the sound, where the real force lives, the sub-bass giving what the high end gives. No access to the cellular, the bone, deep resonance of the tone that knows the body's frequency by heart. This is what shakes the ground. This is where the music starts. I've been in rooms where the bass came through the floor and changed the weather, the particular pressure of the low end, making the familiar air into something dense and physical and true. The bass more grammatical than words for what the body needs to know, that the world runs on a frequency below the thinking, and the thinking can't let go into what shakes the ground. You feel it in the seat of the spine, a particular line of the heavy bass, finding every hollow of the body and feeling it. This is what shakes the ground, the deliberately heavy, deliberately found bottom of the music, hitting down into the pavement of the town of the ordinary. The bass notes claim on the physical, the low and flame of the frequency that rearranges everything it passes through, changes made by weight, not brightness. From fear, from the fit of the frequency to the body's need for something that runs this deep, this freed. From the careful and the light, this low. This is what shakes the ground. Every molecule of the compound, architecture of the body recognizing the low end signal rising from the floor through the feet, through the chest, through the part of the brain that knows the rest is surface. The bass is the real thing. The bass is what the ground is saying beneath every other frequency. This is what shakes the ground. The low end coming up to find you. The bass that was always behind you. In the floor, in the physics, in the deep, permanent rumble of the alive that keeps moving below the moving. This is what shakes the ground. Feel it in the ground. Feel it. argument below follow the herds of the reasonable and the explained, a weight that can't be trained out of existence by the rational, the emotional that's gravitational, the thing that pulls the chest toward the floor when everything you carried before finally asks to be set down. The weight of this, the weight of this is in the bass, not the metaphor, the actual space. The low frequency occupies in the body when the music hits. Nobody talks about the physics of the heavy song, but here it is, the very low note changes the gravity of the room. The weight of this is real, is physical, is the business of the bass in the blood. I've been carrying this a long time, in the high frequencies, the rhyme of the articulate and the processing in the register of the confessing mind. The careful word, but the weight was always in the low. The freight of the actual running at the depth the conscious doesn't access. The breath below the breath. The weight of this, the weight of this live in the floor, in the subsonic, in the before, the audible in the density of the low end's intensity, pressing on the chest from underneath. The weight of this, the sheath of the heavy song around the heavy feeling. The bass is the revealing of the weight that words can't carry. Harry, 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 Harry. Is real, not metaphor, the feel of the sub-bass finding the exact frequency of the intact grief or joy or rage or love that lives below the name the bass gives it a body, gives it room to shake the whole room. The weight of this is in the low end, in the drop, in the slow bend of the bass note, finding the frequency of everything you carry. The agency of the heavy music is exactly this. It goes where the words miss. It goes below the explaining into the plain physics of the feeling made audible. The weight of this is the lettable fact of the heavy song. The bass was right all along. The bass is where the real weight lives. The bass is what the body gives back to the music when the music hits it right. The weight of this, the weight of this, the weight. Every theory of the universe starts at the bottom, the rehearse of the low-end theory of everything. The bass is the foundation, the sing of the electrons in the atom, the hum of the dark matter, the low drum of the cosmos running at a frequency below detection. The urgency of the low end is the whole argument. Low-end theory of everything. The bass note is the root of the ring of every other frequency above it. Nothing stands without the groove. It all comes from the low, the deep, where the heavy keeps its keep. And the riff is the law, and the law is the groove. played this at volume in the car, alone at midnight. The particular weight of the bass through the door panels, the subwoofer running at the channels. Low music into pure physics. The body doesn't listen, it fixes itself to the frequency and follows the riff into the particular hollows of the chest where the real feeling goes. Flow and theory of everything. The heavy song is the offering of the actual physics to the feeling. Bass as the force that's been concealing itself in the floor of every room. Everybody carrying the womb of the low frequency within. Low and theory of everything. That's where all the music begins. The solo confirmed what the theory said. Everything above the bass is fed by the frequency below. The whole structure of the song, the soul of the music, lives in the low, low end theory of everything. The bass is the gravitational ring around every note. Above it, the pull of the heavy low on the full register of the song. Nothing escapes the low end gravity. Nothing shapes the music like the bass below. Low end theory of everything. The low is the law, the groove is the proof. The bass note is the fundamental truth of every song worth feeling. Low end theory of everything. Ceiling removed, floor revealed. The bass is every theory starting place. Low end theory. Everything. There's a thing that runs beneath the thinking, older than the language, older, linking every instinct to the original weight of the body that was built to locate the low frequency in the ground. Something with iron in the blood found the sub-bass and understood that this was always the right sound. Iron in the blood. And the iron doesn't ask permission. It just finds the frequency and locks in. Iron in the blood, that's what this is. The body's oldest recognition, the fizz of the low end fine in the bloodstream. The bass note and the heartbeat, the same team, running at the same depth, the same frequency. Iron in the blood, the claim of the heavy music on the animal. The bass is the original call. I've been in the pit when the low end hit the particular commit of the body to the frequency below. The audible, the slow drop of the bass into the physical, and the physical response, the visceral recognition of the original note. responds at the correct rate of the low and the correct depth of the chest. Responds the breath of the bass, finding the blood always there. Iron in the blood, the whole circuit complete. The bass note and the merit of the body that was built to receive it. The heavy music doesn't deceive it. It speaks directly to the iron, the animal that never stopped trying to hear the low frequency of the alive. Iron in the blood, that's how we survive. The everything above it, rooted in the bass, in the low, undiluted. The slow burn is more devastating than the fast one. The accumulating weight of the low tempo hit is the long approach, the deliberate arrival of the massive thing that's been building since before the beginning of the song. The slow descent of the bass into the spent and trembling body is the whole story. Slow burn, massive. That's the arrival of the thing that can't be stopped. Slow burn, massive is the name for the kind of heavy that came from patience, from the coiled thing, refusing the quick, heavy ring of the bass note placed with the full weight of the decision every laid and deliberate hit of the kick drum, saying this is the time, the sum of every second of the slow approach. Slow burn, massive. That's the way of the thing that knew it could wait. The slow burn reaches the massive. That's the moment, that's the passive tense turned active. Every held note, every patient belled beat delivered all at once. Slow burn, massive. The whole weight arrived without announcement. The freight of the patient thing that waited out. Every reason not to. The redoubt of the bass note finally landing. Slow burn, massive. The understanding that the biggest thing comes slow. That the heaviest frequency below the audible was always the correct one. Slow burn, massive. The whole function of the low end is this: to arrive with the full weight of what's kept alive. vibrates at the right frequency. The walls, the floor, the immediacy of the body meeting the bass note and recognizing it, the remote control of the physical. Everything vibrates, and the vibration that operates below the audible is the truest kind. At the molecular level, everything is motion. The whole ring of the physical world running on the frequency of the undone. Stillness, nothing is still at the level of the atom, the revel of the electrons in their orbits. Everything vibrates, the chorus of the universe at the frequency of alive. And the bass note is the address of that frequency delivered to the body directly. No translation. I held my hand to the speaker and felt the particular seeker nature of the low note, how it finds the cavities of the body, the kinds of space that resonate at its exact frequency. The intact physical response, chest, sternum, jaw, everything vibrates is the law of the bass note against the body. And the law doesn't need consent. The bass finds the frequency and fills it, whether you're ready or not. The whole room was vibrating by the chorus, not metaphor. The porous wall between the body and the frequency dissolve the delinquency of the low end, claiming everything. Everything vibrates, that's the whole fact. The bass delivers intact and undeniable. The physics of the feeling, the praxis of the heavy song against the body that was always ready for the frequency that matches its own. Everything vibrates, the zone of the sub-bass is the zone of the alive. Everything vibrates, the bass note demonstrates that the body and the music were always the same frequency, always. Everything vibrates. Everything. You know a riff has taken the room. When the conversation stops, the tomb of silence where the talking was is filled immediately with a particular will. Presence of the thing, the riff is not a background, not a cliff. Hanger for the vocal, the riff is the whole argument, the stiff certainty. inside at the womb of the heavy groove, expanding to fill every corner, the commanding presence of the low end, owning everything. The riff owns the room, that's the law of the heavy song, the raw authority of the fuzz and the bass, locked together in the same low place of the frequency. The riff owns the room, and the room accepts it, the womb of a space transformed by the low end claim. The riff owns the room, and the room became the riff. Walls, floor, chest, jaw, everything owned by the one law of the heavy groove. The riff is the room, the riff is the cliff. You jump from into the bass, no below. The riff, the riff owns the room. The riff, the riff alone. The pressure builds below the threshold of the comfortable, the controlled accumulation of the low end against the body, the whole blend of the sub bass and the mechanical beat running at the radical low frequency of the inevitable, something large and unforgivable in its patience. Pressure system, pressure building from the bottom up. Pressure system in the chest. Every system has a pressure point, the joint between the holding and the release, between the compression and the cease of the compression. The pressure system is the bass note prism, splitting the body into the before and after, the floor of the before becoming the ceiling of the after. Pressure at the limit, pressure finding the release point. held at is the easy one, the surface where the comfortable and done things live, the things that have a word for them already, the herd, and named and filed, but that's not it. Dig through the first layer, the grit of the articulate, and find the seam of the thing below the thing, the dream that doesn't answer to the polished language. First layer cleared, keep going. The second layer has more resistance. The distance between the intention and the instance of the actual is wider here. The tools required are not the careful rules of the surface, but the low-end instrument. The bass note is the sentiment of the layer that doesn't have a name. Yet dig until you hit something real. The game changes at the second layer's bottom. Second layer through, the bass is louder here. The social contract, but the raw and unmanaged, the particular claw of the actual feeling against the chest wall. The bass is the call of the third layer asking to be met. Dig until you hit something real, the depth of the honest to the depth. Third layer, something real. Bass found it first. Dig until you hit something real. That's what the heavy music is for. The feel of the bass at the depth of the actual is its actual proof that the real thing exists below. The managed dig until the low the raw note at the depth of the chest where the unmanaged kept its particular weight, real, unnamed, below language, the bass claimed territory of the actual feeling. Dig until you hit something real. The bass found it in the floor. is built from the bottom. The long foundation of the base before the walls go up, before the floor of the full structure can support the weight of everything above the chord of the guitar, and the drum is built on the bass. The sum of the heavy is the foundation note. Foundation first, then the walls, then the thing that makes it fall in the right direction. The architecture of heavy, every wall of bass note, every load-bearing element, the low frequency that you don't know is holding everything until it stops. The architecture of heavy drops from the structure to the rubble in the time it takes the double bass to hit the floor. I've been in buildings that felt heavy, not physically, the edgy, particular weight of the space that has the low end in the place of the ambient where the air itself has mass. The architecture of itself is the base beneath the base, beneath the base, every place. The low end built is the architecture of heavy, and the heavy structure always falls in the most magnificent way. The structure held until the chorus, then the architecture fell for us magnificently. Each wall of the heavy songs controlled fall into pure frequency. The architecture of heavy, the whole fall of the structure into the call of the bass that was always the only real support. The low and lonely foundation note that held the song together all along. The strong architecture of heavy is the base. Every wall built from the place below the audible. Every load carried by the low encode of the heavy song. The architecture falls into the lecture of the bass note at the bottom, always there, never forgotten. Architecture heavy, lower bass. There are things that run subterranean, the heat of the earth, the riparian table of the groundwater, the fault lines of the geological vault that holds the surface of the subsonic running beneath the harmonic of the everyday. The subterranean is always running the riparian of the low and below the lived world. Subterranean, that's where the bass lies, below the audible. The gift it gives to the bodies below. They hear it in the know of the physical, the double bass of the synth and string in the same place at the same low frequency. The subterranean, oh, the hub of the heavy music's real rotation. I felt the subway running under the street, the particular thunder of the low frequency physics of the mass in motion, the specifics of the sub-bass that the city generates without intending. The great unplanned low end of the infrastructure running at the frequency rupture of the comfortable with the sub-bass truth. Subterranean, the whole layer of the music below the player of the top and below the where you think the music is. The rare double bass of the heavy song, the sub-bass and the bass guitar along the same frequency. Two layers of the low end, two players in the subterranean range. Trembled when the sub-bass arrived at street level, the real bass of the heavy music reaching up through the floor into the cup of the body that was waiting for it. Subterranean, coming up the whole mass of the underground. The soul of the heavy music is below the place you thought it was. Below and the lower and the lower still, sub-bass and bass guitar until the frequency of both arrives at the body. That's where the heavy lives. In the subterranean always. In the subterranean always. In the particular kingdom of the fast and the heavy simultaneous, not one or the other but the instantaneous. Both speed is mass, mass is speed. The low end at full velocity, the creed of the thrash that doesn't lose the weight. Fast and heavy, both at once. Run the engine hot. simultaneous. Run it hot. Run the engine hot, the whole weight. At full speed, the freight of the heavy at the thrash tempo. Bass and riff and kick, the tempo that proves the low end can carry. The speed without the vary of the weight. Hot engine full low end. Running at the speed that doesn't bend to the expectation of the slow. Run the engine hot, both at once. Heavy and the fast, the stunts of the low end at full velocity. Run it hot, run the engine free. Hot engine, engine. Everything else is done, when the guitar has run its course and the drums have said everything they had, the thread that holds the song together at the end is the one that couldn't bend under the weight of the everything above. The bass note is the love that outlasts the arrangement. The bass is the last thing standing when the structure starts disbanding. When the guitars go first and the drums follow and the song becomes the ruin of itself. The bass remains in the ruined place, still running at the fundamental note. The bass is the last thing standing in the rubble. It never stopped. I've heard the end of songs where everything fell away except the ring of the bass note in the silence after the particular laughter of the low end, outlasting all the high frequencies. The call of the foundation after the walls fall. The bass is the last thing standing tall in the aftermath of the song. This is the last thing standing, not the loudest or the The surface that nobody drew. The circuitous accumulated pressure of the years, running at the depth that only appears when the thing that holds gives way. The fault lines of everything we say. We've managed the low hum of the unresolved, the sum of the underground tension. The fault lines. That's what runs beneath the managed surface, underneath the held together and the seemed okay. The fault lines run their own way at the depth where the pressure lives. The base is the map of all that gives and doesn't gives below. Fault lines moving at the frequency that defines what shakes and what holds. The seismograph reads the body the same way the shoddy stillness of the surface over the particular shifting, the soldier of the suppressed running at the depth of the chest. Every held breath is a fault line under pressure. Every unacknowledged treasure of the emotional geology. Fault lines, the whole cartography of the underneath, the geography of the body at the frequency of a healthy urgency. Below the audible is the fault line system, the whole vault of the unlanguaged running deep. The bass note is the sweep of the seismograph reading true. The fault line moved and everything above it shifted. The ring of the readjustment in the body, the low and finding the shoddy architecture of the held thing. Fault lines, the whole structure, readjusting at the rupture of the low end pressure, finally finding the release point. The grinding of the tectonic plates is the base note at the frequency of the place where the held becomes the released. Fault lines, deceased is the tension at the depth. The fault line gave them the birth of the body followed. Fault lines, the base is the seismograph that defines where everything was held, where it let go. Fault lines, still moving. Fault lines. I know. claustrophobia lives in the mass of the actual, the bass. Note at the frequency that registers in the chest wall, the sinister pleasure of the sub-bass, finding every hollow of the body, binding the animal to the low end truth. The heaviest thing I know, and the heaviest thing I know is this right here, this low. The halftime groove is heavier than the full, the carrier of the weight is the space between the beats, the seen and unseen of the rhythm, the held beat swells, the mass compelled by the gravity of the withheld moment. The halftime groove has spelled out the physics of the patient heavy, and the patient heavy is the most devastating. The halftime ghost in the beat, carrying maximum weight. The low frequency at the right mass, running at the right pass through the body, that's the heaviest. The heaviest thing I know is the bass note at the frequency that gets the goat of every light and high thing in the room. The heaviest thing is the womb of the heavy music, the deep note that the body knows by rote, from before the language, from before the name. The heaviest thing I know is the same. Every time the low end of the mass, it was built to carry the